Welcome to Great Communicators TV. I'm Karen Sachs. Today we're going to talk about the science and psychology of listening. Now, most of us think that we listen at 100%, but the truth is we listen significantly less. So today we're going to understand the difference between hearing and listening. We're going to talk about some of the factors that help us from focusing when we're supposed to be listening. And we're going to talk about how the brain works when we listen. Let's talk about some key statistics first. We spend 70 to 80% of our day communicating. And 55% of that is listening, yet no one has ever taught us how to listen properly. The average amount of time it takes before someone interrupts you when you speak is a mere 17 seconds. And when we think we're communicating at 100%, statistics show that we're actually at 25% efficiency. Just 25%. That is not a lot of time. So, what causes some of the issues with listening? First, our brains. Now, our brains process words at 600 to 800 words a minute. But the average person only speaks 125 to 150 words. So that lag time creates some real boredom in our minds. That makes it difficult. The other piece of the puzzle is that there are 3 components of speaking. And so your brain's got to be covering 3 things when you're focusing on it. There's the 3 V's: verbal, vocal, visual. Verbal. Verbal communication is just the words that you use when you communicate. That's about 7% of our speaking language. 7% is verbal. The next is vocal. Vocal is the tone that we use, how we breathe. And finally, we have visual. Visual is the non-verbal communications that we use. Eye contact, body language, where we look. When you put all of those pieces together, you'll find that it's very interesting. 7% is words, 35% is tone. The rest is nonverbal. The variety of what we need to do when we listen is to focus on all 3 of those, especially the large non-verbal communications components. Finally, there's a story gap. Because our mind is thinking about what we want to say next, as opposed to listening to them, we lose gaps in the story. That causes us to make misconceptions, fill in the blanks in our minds. We create some assumptions that may or may not be true. That is a problem with listening. Let's do an exercise. I'm going to speak to you for 60 seconds. In 60 seconds, I need you to be listening to me very carefully. At the end of my 60 seconds, I want to find out, tell yourself, how many times did your mind drift? How many times did you want to interrupt? How many times did you just want to stop listening, period? 60 short seconds. I think you'll be surprised at how much you want to stop listening or aren't listening clearly. So here we go. Set timer for 60 seconds.
60 seconds, starting now.
My daughter loves cats. We have a dog. Ada wanted to have a cat for many, many years, but our dog was old and we told her that when our dog passed away, we would get her a cat. Well, the time came and our dog passed away, and 2 days later she asked when she could get her cat. Now, I thought I would just let her have the internet of a rescue site in York, where I live. That way she could look at the cat pictures and she could think about them, and that would buy me several days. I was wrong. In less than 20 minutes, she came back to me and she said, "Mommy, This is the cat I want to adopt. Well, I tried to explain to her that you don't just grab a picture and look. You have to bond with the cat. We have to go meet the cat and see if you like the cat and if the cat likes you. There's your 60 seconds. So, how many times in that 60 seconds did your mind wander? How many times did you want to interrupt me? You don't have to tell me, although you can list it in the comments if you'd like. But I think you'll find that there was some amount of time where your mind wandered in just 60 short seconds. So imagine an entire conversation that lasts for 15 or 20 minutes where you're going back and forth with someone. It's hard to stay focused. It is an active listening process. You listen with your entire body, and you have to do it consciously, because conscious listening creates connection, and connection is what real listening is. That's the end of our part 1. Check out part 2 of active listening in just a second.